I've been trying to make a focus for like mental health, like in all of my interviews. So especially like in like Appalachia, how it's so stigmatized.
Hmm.
How have you dealt with like that stigma?
Many of my friends took great pride in being weird. So that was something that it was like my dad, we found out he was dyslexic. My mom had a lithium deficiency, which, of course, results in a form of bipolar. I have ADHD. And the thing is, even before we found this out, we just prided ourselves on being different because normal is boring. When you come out with that mindset growing up, right? It's really easy to ignore the stigmatism. If people are looking at you and saying, "Oh, you're weird," and you're like, "I know, ain't it great?" then the stigmatisms kind of fall apart. It's only something that has affected me negatively when it's something that I didn't have the energy to appreciate, if that makes sense. There was a time in my life where I was, I'm still fighting with depression. Long story about where that came from. Between the depression, the ADHD, and what eventually developed into uh, pseudo seizures caused by extreme emotional trauma, a lot of people started to accuse me of being lazy, right? And even before the the seizures, the one stigma that did kind of hit home and hurt because I know the fight that I would have to go through. I wake up in the morning and I open my eyes and I'm like, oh, great, another day. Right. And anybody that would talk to me, they're like, oh, but you're always smiling. You're so upbeat, and it's like, yes, I am, because I'm doing everything I can to make the best of this awful, sucky, horrible world and trying not to admit that it feels so horrible. Because at the point that I felt like at the point that I admitted that I was unhappy, I thought I would break. I thought that would just be the end of me. And in some ways, that's exactly what happened. But the problem is, I broke before I admitted it. And so maybe if I had admitted I'm not happy sooner, it wouldn't have been such an issue. But again, so we're going back to the question about stigmas of mental health. A lot of people just don't realize that, especially depression. When you wake up, you start the day with a fight because you don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to face that day. You have to summon up an incredible amount of willpower just to say, all right, you know, yeah, today's going to suck, but I'm going to make the best of it and I'm going to get out of this bed and I'm going to do what I can. And to have to do that day after day after day, it is exhausting. And there gets to be a point where what you can do wears down over time, and then there gets to be a point where what you can do simply is not enough. And it's not enough to take care of yourself. It's not enough to take care of the people that you love.